Welcome, my twin flame friends. It's 2:38 on the clock, which is the 2 of the Divine Feminine and the High Priestess, and the 38 of the Queen of Cups. Very Mary Magdalene energies. And it just turned 39, which is the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and the 2 of them. And there's some beautiful energies coming through, and also some very difficult energies coming through. So I did the reads that I've been doing for the 12 signs this month, and I'm up to Virgo. The next sign is Libra, I believe. And so I did the same, I was practicing the same read to see what the general energies were coming up and on myself. And they ended up being reads for the community. So there's like 3 reads here of this type. This is the last one from yesterday. And a lot of energy coming up with that. You see the fire burning over there. That's frankincense and myrrh. Frankenmyrrh was coming up. I was just meditating, and I didn't want to forget this too. There's some great videos to watch. What is? I thought it was a bird in the tree, but it was a squirrel. It looked awfully weird. And the squirrel looks purple. It's kind of like a mauve purple. That was interesting. I don't normally see squirrels as being mauve. And it's been really rainy for 3 days straight. And I think there's a reason for that. Z Earthstar was really talking about the womb, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I was getting womb messages in my Instagram messages, which you might want to check out. And she made the analogy of the NASA rockets going up into the womb of the eclipse, and that really resonated with me regarding my messages, but also I had gotten, I'm trying to think who else it was. The energy of the eclipse lines crossing from the last eclipse back in October to now, that crosses over Texas, was coming up as significant, but also the shape of this eclipse, which goes from the waters outside France, England, and whatever else is right there. I don't know if it's Spain. I'm terrible with geography, but the energies from there, which was referencing the dirty waters of Atlantis, and then the eclipse moving down to through the United States and then through Mexico onto the other side into the Pacific Ocean, of more of the Lemurian energy. And I was getting that energy too, and somebody else brought up the same type of thing in a different way. But it is really like, even though the eclipse is moving west, there's this energy of clearing the distorted masculine, right? The waters of Lemuria. The reference of the Lemurians moving forward to Atlantis and getting dirtied by that water. So some of that stuff will come up in my messages and spirits connecting with me. But yeah, definitely read my Instagram messages. They're not long. I mean, some of them look long on Instagram, but they're not like these messages, which are much longer. It would just take you a minute to read. And really read them with the music, because the music gives you an activation, and they're so beautiful sometimes, the way they come up. The meditation I was just doing, there's something else about the rockets that I'm forgetting to bring up. I really feel like, right, that's supposed to be this distorted masculine, like the raping of the mother, right, of the eclipse. And but I don't want to say too much, because that's Z's video. You should go and watch her if you want to see that information. But and Frank just went out, and I'm looking at the little nub of incense that was in there. It looks like a hot dog, which obviously is a masculine reference there. And I brought up the energy of sexual abuse of the feminine as well. So it's really coming up as the distorted masculine against the divine feminine, right? Taking advantage of that energy. And again, my message about that had to do with the earth mother, and the way we have abused her, raped and abused her, exactly. So it's the same exact message, just coming from my point of view as opposed to her point of view. So the meditation I just did was bringing up, all I was seeing was like a baby elephant, you know, like a baby elephant just learning how to use their voice and their trunk. And first he's just kind of playing, and he's on his back rolling around and looking at his trunk. And it's 2:44 on the clock, which is the feminine, and the 44 of the Atlas / Hercules energies, really the feminine, more social worker energy of Atlas. But the baby rolling around on their back, and then the baby was so cute, was just getting up in kind of every direction, was honking their horn, you know, making their voice known. So proud of themselves, and they're running around, you know, like a little kid. It was really cute. But it was also bringing up last night, because this is the 3rd day in a row it's been really rainy, and it was storming last night, and our puppy dog Teddy Bear, who will be 3 in July 21st, is very scared of the thunderstorms, and Jen wasn't home, so and he doesn't usually sleep in my room. I usually keep my door closed at night so he doesn't come on my bed. And so, of course, I let him in my room last night. But he didn't even want to get up on my bed because of the storm. You know, he didn't see that as safe. So I actually got down on the floor and slept with him on the floor for a little while last night. But when I was doing that and I was holding him, I was really honing in on some of the negative energies that are coming up in the collective. And the uncomfortable energy, which always starts out around the solar plexus, for me anyway, was, instead of going into one chakra system, was splitting into 2 chakra systems, going into the sacral chakra and the heart. But those 2 difficult energies ended up at the throat chakra, and I was seeing a lot of light blue, which I never see. So there's some kind of new opening of the throat chakra here, which was really cool to see. And there was definitely connection last night there as well. So bringing up all that, I do want to get into this. So I will roll the die for you guys first. This is for the twin flames. And today is April 3rd. Right, we have the 4 of the Emperor, the 3 of the Empress, which was part of my Instagram message today. The 4 and the 3, and then the day adds up to the 15, which is the Devil, or the Shadow, which is my card that I use. The shadow work that's going on right now between the masculine and the feminine, right? The bigwigs here. The mother, the father. And a lot of my Instagram message had to do with, just like us, you know, we have to take responsibility. Like, why did we draw this negative energy into our field? Why did Mother Earth draw our negative energy into her field? And again, what I always tell you guys, it's not about the savior, the perpetrator changing, it's about the victim shifting, because then they shift both ends and pull them towards the center, making everything more balanced, right? Because they're not going to give up their jobs. It's the victim has to stop allowing themselves to be the victim and learning how to save themselves, right? Saving themselves from themselves, basically. So Mother Earth was coming up as that same energy, right? She's just a bigger form of us. Just like we have lots of organisms on our own bodies that are having a whole nother world. So let's see what the dice have for you today. This April 3rd, 2024, which of course is the 8 year, and the dragon year. They were coming up too with the snake. Okay, snake eyes was just coming up too. All right, so we have Gemini. Oh, yep, Gemini's coming up. My parents came up in my Instagram today, so check that out. They were both Gemini, 7 years, 7 days apart, and they're coming in. They were definitely chiming in on purpose this morning, so we'll see what else, if something else comes up with them. We have the number 10 here, which is the Wheel of Fortune. For me, that's also Libra energy, so we have 2 air signs. And then we have Mars over here, which is Aries. And Mars doesn't go into Aries until April 30th, I believe. The library is coming up with this. This always reminds me of college, because there's a library too, it's called. It's, you know, just a wine and beer type of bar place. and then the 10, and obviously this is like 1 and 1, and this is like 1 and 0 next to it. So the 2 and the 10, the twins. Gemini, of course, is Mercury's going retrograde, so there's that energy coming in right now. And Virgo came up too. Any mercurial energies are going to be affected right now because of the retrograde. And then the 10 of Libra, which is the south node. And also we just had that eclipse in Libra, the lunar eclipse, as we move into the solar eclipse on the 8th. And those dates keep coming up, 4-4, 4-8 keeps coming up, 4-20 keeps coming up, 29 keeps coming up. There's maybe a couple others here. But this energy of masculine aggression here, right? And here is that energy of the raping of the feminine. And of course, Mars being that Aries energy. But I think, isn't Mars is still in Pisces right now, which really softens it, right? So it's good because if Mars was at full blast right now, that could be more of a problem. So a lot of communication, but again, some glitches definitely were coming up. I tried to buy something on Amazon and I couldn't even check out, and that never happens. So it's just, it would do everything fine, and then when I went to pay, it wouldn't allow me to. It would go to some weird comment. So there's, yeah, some really strange little glitches going on. Let's see, Gemini, Libra, this air sign with Mars in Pisces. That's also Aries. So we have 2 cardinals and then 2 mutables. The other thing I want to talk about is the eclipse. So I'm in the eclipse area right now. I'm not directly under it, but I am within the basic span of the eclipse. And one of the things that happens during the eclipse, when you're directly beneath it, is that there's a bit of a vacuum that's created, and all the nature tends to disappear. And I said that last week, actually for the past 2 weeks or so. I'm like, where are all the birds? We had these beautiful days and there were no birds. And then I went to plug up some holes from the bees in my house, in the front and the back, the other day. And not yesterday, I think it was the day before. And there were no bees bothering me at all until I finished. But like when I was doing it, there was one bee that came up. I was doing dishes at the window, and the bee was hovering outside the window, probably yelling at me for closing up his house. And there was a baby bee inside my doorway, which I had let out of the house. So all I saw was that one baby bee, and that one mother bee probably was that baby bee's mother. But yeah, no birds. Like I just saw the squirrel in the tree, and there's maybe not a whole lot of birds usually when it's, storming. But it was before that, when it was beautiful out. I rarely saw any birds, and maybe just a robin here or there. They're just not here. They're gone. I might hear a crow here and there, but I'm not seeing anything. So, and that was after I did see about a week ago the robin literally catching the worm on my front yard as I was cleaning up some sticks out there. So the robins were definitely showing me that it was spring. So let's get into this first read. Let's see which one this is. So I'm not going to get into this read, but there were a couple of pieces of information I did want to give you. This was coming up, I don't know if it was the same day as my Instagram post, but Atlas's fall under the sea as dolphins swim in the polluted waters of fallen pillars, watching over the little fishes. And the fallen pillars were coming up with some mudslinging there. The high priest or priestess connecting with higher power, clearing wounds of Atlantis versus Lemuria, being psychic behind Stonehenge was coming up, and karmic relationship involving the military or the military man or pilot was also coming up. And again, that is that energy of war again, where some of these past life cards were coming up as specifically war or ships and war for the masculine, and unrequited love and being an orphan for the feminine, which go hand in hand, right? If he goes off to war and gets killed, she becomes orphan, and then her orphan wounds come up again. So that was specifically what was some of the stuff that was coming up for the masculine versus the feminine. The energy of the magnifying glass and self-deliverance by the 36th ship out of water of distant horizons. Very interesting that the ship came into Baltimore, and people talk a lot about Baltimore and its meaning, but what about Maryland? It has to do with Mary's land is what was infiltrated. Okay, so there's again the violence towards Mary. Atlas with no grounds, and the 7 seals also came up. Perhaps, I don't know if it's 5 more to go or 2 more to go. The twin bridges and birdhouses that require some repair. There's definitely unions coming in here very strongly. There's some that won't come together quite yet. It's like something else has to be cleared. But yeah, there's definitely stuff saying, yes, it's time, which that just happened yesterday. Like they kept saying, it's not quite time yet, it's not quite time yet. And yesterday saying, it's here. Digging out the crown, or how to split, divide, or break up. 6 of Cups is involved here, always upright in all of these reads, which is the loving children or the soulmate energy or that pure connection of childhood. And again, if you're feeling depressed, the action is to allow the energy to flow through you so that it gets processed. There's a need to heal still before coming together in that innocence of the 6 of Cups, and what dreams may come also coming up here. So let's see here. Oh, interesting too, because that same day, the action for the future to take was coming up as the Devil, which is today's date. The action today, which is 4-3 of the Emperor and the Empress. And the Lovers were coming up upright that day as well, right? The Devil, like paralleling the Lovers, which is the dark and the light of the same card, with the Devil with the moon on their side howling and letting the dogs out. And that could be, letting your feet be free, or just, again, the little baby elephant howling, learning how to use their voice and their trunk. And then the 3 of Pentacles reverse was between these two polarities, and the Lovers was coming out with the Page of Swords reverse, which can be referencing negative self-talk or a bad message or some kind of rumors from Lover or from Twin or Gemini coming up, or perhaps found a letter cutting them off. There's something like that coming up, or issues at work, issues with co-creating or coming together to work and be creative. And then on the 29th, I had watched Somewhere in Time, and I don't remember if I've watched it before, ever in my life. So, and it was on the 29th that I watched Somewhere in Time, and the date in Somewhere in Time about when he had to connect with her was June 29th, 1912, and 1912's come up like 3 or 4 times since then. And 6/29/1912 adds up to 48, which is the 8 of Cups, walking away and within. And then 6:30 and 7:30 both came up as well. Waiting for their ship to come in, hard times are over. Destined to let go and surrender and embrace the renewal of the present, with Serious Lovers, which references the serious connection. And again, the connection to Alhina, the star that's opposite Sirius in the triangle. So that would be Procyon and Betelgeuse escorting the owl, whose wings were spread between Sirius and Alhina, which is in Gemini the twins. So here's Sirius reaching out to the Gemini twins. Alhina, or Alina, however it's pronounced, was coming up as the sergeant here, getting the twins in line. Sophia, Erie, us, and then God's Temple, the Merlin was coming up here, at the top of the castle, but Merlin, of course, is magic as well. but the mini temple was coming up here, like the humans are mini gods, and here's the mini temple, and the top dog wins every time. And then I was getting the Orion twins, Sirius, winter triangle connection right there. The energy of Al-Hina was coming up, like Al-Qaeda, but Al-Qaeda wasn't coming up specifically, just the Al regarding Al-Qaeda, which is the base, Al-Qaeda's translation. And Al-Hina is like the life. It's like all life, or the life. Hina also in Arabic means happiness and peace of mind. Mother, the cloth, and alive. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Not this one. There could be sudden breaks coming up, sudden break in relationship or a divorce. This finalized. Again, like I said, for the feminine, unrequited love with the orphan, and with the masculine, the ships, love and war, but also for the feminine, ships with the love life and making vows, the young girls making vows, marriage at high seas, or their ship coming in. Okay. Now we're at the page I want to be. So the underlying energy here was Greco-Roman. Let's see where that one is. Yeah, okay. So the Greco-Roman read is here, as you can see. So this was my past, present, future read. This is the topic, the people involved, and then the actions to take, and just some extra cards here at the end. And then this is the past life deck, this is the present deck, and this is the future deck. This is the Shaman Dreams. And this is Lenormand and Kipper decks combined. And then the underlying energies for this, okay? And then we have the past life deck. Underlying energies here, the uprights are obviously we're up like that, but I tell you each card that comes out. So this is the first one. And the underlying energy there was Greco-Roman, which came out for another read prior to that. So Greco-Roman, and it was the underlying energy after the Native American with the TP in it, and the unicorn of wisdom, lovers across Greeks and Romans. So it's this energy of, that came up recently too, right? Where you were present at the time of the big changes between Greece and Rome. And this is coming up here too, right? One perhaps was Roman, one was Greek, or one siding with one siding with the other at the time of big changes. The Native American coming up here, and the TP, and then the unicorn's wisdom, the doves of forgiveness, the roses of love life, and then the pillars of Greco-Roman times. The past life energies of Greco-Roman. And the first cards out were the vows, again, keep coming up here. And they're up here in those cards too, but I'll get to them when we get to that read. The vows of the young girls, the health and the community, vowing to awaken and serve the community, perhaps in healthcare, as we have healthcare here as well in the underlying energies. The underlying energy of justice and Libra at the bottom of it all, the wounded warrior reversed, surrendering, the Six of Wands reversed under the radar, needy for attention or feeling of failure, perhaps a marred reputation, with the Hermit upright shedding light on the King of Pentacles upright, or the King of Pentacles is advisor on the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, needing clarity, or in a split or some kind of divide, or one big lie, ascending through a depression, a need to heal, or traveling with no attention, or just time out of the limelight. Libra and Virgo both upright right here, and Cancer upright, with Aquarius reversed, or Judge and Hermit in the Chariot, perhaps with a driver, or the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community may have lied or split with everything, but in a very arrogant way. The past energies in this first read were coming up with the Lenormand Kipper deck, the underlying energies of the 24, which is the Queen of Wands and the Thief, or depressed Queen of Wands, dependent or with dependent, powerless or loss of money, power, independence, or a big expense or purchase. And people involved are the Five of Swords reversed, who are people post-war, dealing with things like PTSD and victims of looting. The 18 of the romantic innocent pup or puppy love, the 10 of Cups family, and that pup wanting to go for a walk through the maze of the neighborhood to socialize perhaps. This could be a Cancer energy as well. Perhaps to see dogs and people, or Cancer and Scorpio to come together in joy. A man with sudden thoughts of her, but dealing with life and death, or patience, or dependence, or even loss of independence, and suddenly weak, post-lover's turmoil within. So at 420, there's that one of those numbers that keeps coming up, 420, it came up, and I always tell you that that's my son's birth time, but I ended up calling him at that time. At 744, which is the Chariot and the 44 of the Four of Cups, whether it's boredom or apathy or grounding and integrating the experiences that you've been through, and that could be travel with the Chariot. The energy of underlying went from the 24 of the Queen of Wands to the 28 of expectation, the 27 of the Seven of Swords letter, the 26 of journaling and the 10 of Pentacles, the 34 of occupation or busyness, the path of waiting for the letter, sealed delivery, perhaps sealed with a kiss, or is there a broken seal here? And we talked about the 7 seals being opened. A new passion and taking a risk with the Page of Wands, with the 10 of Pentacles, cracking codes, as the cards just came up of 28, 27, and 26. As the 34, occupation of energetic exchange, or lots of back and forth, the arrows of love, and the 30 of judication with the 42 of the compass, and that day was the energy of 42, the Two of Cups, with home, union, and direction for the Two of Cups or partnership, where to go from here, and then northeast or southwest was coming up. And where's Waldo? Because 25 was missing, which is the Knight of Wands. And the action to take here was the Divine Lovers upright. The present moment here was the underlying energy of retreat, or having gone away recently and coming back, or going away, or just retreating to rest. The first card out here was denial and detached with love, unavailable. You know, someone's unavailable but awakening. The moon upright is the topic here after the full moon and eclipses, nighttime and romance. A person here is the Page of Swords, which can be a child, a pet, messages, stepping up to cut things out perhaps. Gemini and Cancer both upright at night, or a romantic message, or Gemini message about their move and new property, or action to take is the Eight of Wands upright, that energetic exchange, messages of love, perhaps a group chat. And the future energies here were the underlying energy of the Spirit of the River, the 50 of the 10 of Cups family, or emotional happiness, and moving towards adventure. With the first card out being the 34 and the lay of the land, and Sri Lanka came up there, the ancestral wisdom and the King of the Hill, in energetic exchange, as the Page of Pentacles may be an invite or study, an exam. And again, that energy of going back and forth with the number 4, the caterpillar, which is the cat ER pillar, which can reference going to the ER, perhaps getting a CAT scan, or dealing with a pillar of the 4, which is the Emperor. And then the 6 of the cosmic womb, divine feminine, and the 5 of the completion and the closing of the door, as we went from 4 to 6 to 5 in the cards. The people are the 6 of Cups reversed here, and a falling out in the past. With the Page of Pentacles and Page of Swords upright here, though, perhaps twins, all air, Virgo, Cancer, and Gemini here, or the past returns, and the actions to take is the 3 of Cups, of coming together and being social or having fun with it. Topics here of the 9 of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is reversed, which references a dependent or powerless person, and the Page of Pentacles upright is a young person, so they would be dependent as well. At night, or romancing the stone, or powerless to romantic page of pentacles, who may be an inspired student here, very curious. The people here, post-wars, the page of swords, fighting between the past and inner turmoil. The actions of the lovers in energetic exchange of the Three of Cups, of socializing or happy reunion, or celebrating some kind of completion. As the King of Swords reversed, there's an awakening to share with others and be charitable, perhaps speaking with the Queen of Cups, who's upright here. And then in the Fortunes Oracle, the underlying energy was the Five of celebrations and gift of light, as the first card out was the 25 of the Knight of Wands. So here's Waldo. Where's Waldo? Well, here he is, in Phoenix perhaps, with the Phoenix rising, and the two of the angel side by side was beautiful. The wings of the Phoenix. Let me show you, because I actually have this deck available. I can show you that energy, because it came up more than once. Let's see how. The energy of the Phoenix and the angel. Where are you? They're farther apart now. They kept coming up close together, but they're not anymore here. But here we have, yeah, these two came up side by side. It was a really positive energy. Okay, I just wanted to get you to get that visual, because it's such a positive energy. And the sun is in the underlying energy too. And I feel like the rockets going off during the eclipse time, there's going to be some kind of glitch for them, right? Because Mother Earth is supposed to stop allowing her abuse, right? She has to stand up for herself. And I feel like that had something to do with the rockets taking off. So the moon is upright. So retreat, where are I? Okay. So with the Knight of Wands and Phoenix, the two of the angel, and where's Waldo? Now they're showing up. The Knight of Wands and the High Priestess fly together now. The two peas in a pod. Aries and Pisces, like Aries and Pisces flying together now, right? We're in Aries, but Pisces is still connected, and it's 3:11 on the clock. Which 3 is about social things coming together and some kind of urgent socializing or community need. But the 2:11 comes up more as the community need, which is interesting. So Phoenix and LA were both coming up here, and 252, which is the 25 of the Knight of Wands and the 52 of the Queen of Swords. And Quatar came up in Gematria, Qatar. Also, Click This came up, and Tatiana. Quatar, West Asia was coming up, the Middle East. Northeast coast of the Arabian Peninsula, above Saudi Arabia. Otherwise, around the country is just the Persian Gulf. And again, it's a big gas and oil company. You probably know that. So P's were coming up big. Train, to drip, dribble, and leak. Or the definition for Quatar, other than a country. And also, this was Mateus was coming up about the gravitational pull. I think this was his post on Instagram, where the bridge from India to Sri Lanka is the lowest gravity on the planet. And Sri Lanka kept coming up for me. But you can check his stuff out about that. But he was referencing also something about the barge coming into the bridge in Baltimore, because Baltimore, that we're the cow, and Baltimore is in the heart of the cow, and Baltimore means big house. But you can look at the rest of that. And again, referencing the same, the 8th is the same day they're reactivating CERN as well. Now, Sri Lanka, I was breaking that down, also literally means holy island. And Atlantis has to do with islands. That's what it actually meant. And Sri Lanka versus the name Elim, I was getting Elan, E-E-L-A-M is the other name that they use, or Satan. It's, I guess, a war between the different people on what it should actually be called, Sri Lanka. But when I saw Elam, I was getting Elon right away. Lanka means yarn, thread, strand, heather, water, meadow, and swamp. And Lanka is also link. IHOP was coming up also. Lan, L-A-N, is doe, like doe a deer, and hind, a female deer. S-R-I means bone, light, Lord, Master, Sir, ray, beauty, radiance, riches, and good fortune all came up. And again, the energy of the bone threaded, which for me right away was bringing up the strand of pearls and a strand of islands, okay? So Sri Lanka is referenced as the Holy Island, and Atlantis were islands, and the eclipse line is heading through where Atlantis was, like I said, going through to Lemuria on the other side of Mexico. And, right, so the eclipse enters through Montreal and Toronto, Canada, of course, Maine, Buffalo, Cleveland, New York, PA, Youngstown, Indianapolis, Ohio, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Dallas, Waco, San Antonio, Austin, Oklahoma, and Texas. Like, it does hit a lot of points here. And Indians was coming up as the country India to Sri Lanka, and referencing the Holy Island here, that the whole Y, the Y in the road, the 0 point field, is land, the island, the strand of radiance, headed, and I was getting the Florida Keys. The whole Y line that came up in my little post about the different lines of the Eve line and the Mary line and the Rose line and the Grace line, and I forget the light line was, Ash line. So Ashlyn was coming up as the Pleiadian line. So and then it popped up as Y line, literally the letter Y line, the 0 point field line, the Holy Grail, right, which is God's rail. The vertical and the X of the horizontal was coming up. And again, the radiology reference of Higlan-Reiner line, and the Y, which is the Y line 2 or teardrop line 3, which references the line through the inferior part of the iliac bones. And it's in relation to hip issues. So it's the top of the ball joint, right, from one hip to the other, and at the bottom of, and the top of the butt bones, or the sit bones. And the angle of 28 degrees came up there, referencing how the degree of the angle there reduces as you age. But the sit bones were coming up as very significant. And you know how the sit bones are circular. So Sri Lanka versus Elon Island was what I was getting, right? The Holy Island versus the Elon Island. And this was 3/31, Easter Sunday. The strand of radiance, bones or pearls. The radiant bone. The doe. And Ka was coming up with Lan, which again, my word Maca, which was my room in Costa Rica, was coming up again. And that Maca is also Mecca. Doe, thousands of years ago, the soul, which was the bird, represented by the bird, to serve of help already. The ox keeps coming up again as hugs and kisses, the steer, but again, Matthias referenced the cow. Me, I, fish, water, and the word, the dominant woman, the cord, the line, the rope, the string, to bite, break, word, chip, rummage, to squeal, case, yonder, you, kaki, K-A-K-I, and the foot as a measure. Not the same, another, bed, bitter, who, what, which, to wash, and chicken, and jackdaw, which is a type of crow or starling, as, like, concerning, word, command, matter, mouth opening, and origin. And again, I talked about the throat chakra earlier. The beginning, the inception, the hyena, the nose, the muzzling. Oh, I forgot to tell you that too when I was doing my meditation. This was totally unrelated to the elephant. All of a sudden there was this guy being really angry with someone and turns back to yell at them, and a muzzle literally flies through the air and muzzles him. So it's like, you know, Mother Earth has this, like nothing like that is going to be allowed to happen, right? It's going to like instant karma, okay? The muzzle comes up here again, and ivory, the tooth, the ivory coast was also coming up, to act, to voice, to speak, to steal. And I think it was Miriam Kramer who was talking about 27, because the eclipse lion in 27 starts from the Ivory Coast. So, and I remembered that when Ivory came up, so I went back to look at the comparison, and that one goes from the Ivory Coast of Africa down through the Horn of South America into the Pacific Ocean. So Lanka is doe or daughter line, and again Sarah then comes up. The cord and the ox, or the kisses and hugs. The origin, the crow or jackdaw. The ivory and Maka, the dear one, the mother line. So the doe is coming up as the daughter, and then the Maka as the mother line. 1,000 years ago, the soul that was represented by the bird, and the strands of pearls, which pearls is the P, and the cord coming up here. The strand, the STR, and Andromeda is coming up with that, of pearls, the PRLS, or P real lives, and the cord between them. The sword coming up here, which is the S word, the cord being the C word. There's the reference again of Sophia and Christ. Doe, crow, chicken word, ivories, and the Ivory Coast. And the coasters had come up earlier, so that was significant. That's why I looked up at the Ivory Coast more, because the coasters had come up. So the 2027 eclipse, and I was getting the strands of islands like Indonesia and the Florida Keys. Maka here was also coming up as Macarena, which means blessed and happy, and it's a line dance. Maka is also Mecca, like I said, and the eye, like in your head, and the beloved one, and the sit bones. I was also taken here to Croatia, because Sit Island is Croatia, because it took me to Sit Island. And it's interesting because Sit Island is right above an island that I was guided to. Jail Beach came up years ago, probably in 2016 or 17 maybe. I think it's probably 2016. You know, and all this is opposite of Italy. But this Sit Island's north, the north part of Italy, and then Jail Beach is the south part of Italy. And that references Albania, which is right above Greece. So here's that energy of Greece versus Rome, the side of Greece, and then the side of Rome or Italy. Yeah, okay. So the underlying energy of the sun reversed, and as the crow flies, a show on Netflix came up. So there's that reference to the crow again, and the crows is the is taking the hypotenuse, right? The shorter distance, the crow's distance, right? Cutting across diagonally instead of taking the square. The underlying energy of the sun reversed, and beneath that, the Three of Cups, the Four of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, the Four of Cups reversed, the Knight of Wands, the Tower, the Moon, and the Ten of Pentacles all upright. A celebration perhaps without sleep and rising above, destined with the Four of Cups reversed, starting over with the Knight of Wands, rushing in suddenly at night with abundant family, business, or community, who's uncomfortable in their emotions here from the past, the inequities, feeling defenseless to the Empress reversed, right, which could be Mother Nature's wrath. of letting go or let go, laying all the cards on the table, establishment committed and or drained or burned by the establishment or institution. Then we have, again, being drained or dead tired, working to align but overwhelmed. The High Priestess assisting those out in the cold, split, divided with news of the Page of Pentacles reversed, which could be an opportunity that was missed, or an opportunist, a child who needs help. The opportunist stealing the limelight as the Knight of Swords rushes in, or performing the news that's old as soon as it comes in, or a live chase. The Chariot upright taking the show on the road with the Knight or the King of Swords reversed, depressed or being arrogant here, or just really negative, as the Knight of Pentacles upright offers help to the King of Wands reversed with the Ten of Wands reversed, right, which is that energy of leaving Atlas behind, but the King of Wands is reversed, so he's either sick or tired or pissed off and you don't want to be anywhere near him. But this is someone taking a load off, so I don't know if he's angry and taking a load off, or sick or tired and just kicking their feet up. It can go either way. He may be looking back at a patient or patient angel, the Nine of Pentacles, Sovereign Catch, and perhaps back in the spotlight again at 11:44. And what is the shortest distance across? All right, and I posted a lot on the 1st on Instagram, so check that out as well. Some like year patterns were coming up as well, like the year 22 to 28, and then the year 27 to 31. Let's see here. The Dragon and Phoenix coming up together as one type of energy with the 25 of the Knight of Wands. And then Patience of the 24, the Queen of Wands. The Thorns of the 31, which is the collective conflict, which is the conflict of life, right? The chaos of life. And then the Angel too. So there's the Phoenix and the Angel coming up together. The Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, renewal and slowing down and to weather the conflict, to allow the difficult energies to flow through in order to reach the Sun Angel, crowning through the thorns to the angelic sun, which is referencing the eclipse on the 8th. Okay, and yeah, the number 714 was coming through. And again, 48, again, oh, I was going to the post office, and I went down a street that had a construction sign on it that it would be closed for construction on the 8th. So I actually had sent some healing energies there, and it was definitely received. So again, the numbers 29, 420, 714, 4448. The rainy days coming in, it's April, right? April showers bring May flowers was coming up significant here. As we go into 4-2, I was just getting fortuitous. I don't know why. Okay, so here is the one from yesterday. This is the one on the table, right? You have the underlying energy of health, and I'll show you the cards that are up there too. So all the same decks that I've been using for the 12 signs on my other channel, Evelyn Stainthorpe, so check them out. Aries through Virgo has been posted already. I might actually do Virgo again. We'll see how much time I have. But yeah, let's get into this read here. So we're up to yesterday, April 2nd. And as soon as I went into the past life deck, it was 408. So there again, referencing April 8th, the eclipse. And remember I told you though, 4-9 is a significant date as well. I keep getting that pattern of 4 different New Years this year, but New Year's within the leap year. So after the leap year, which is of course February 29th. So the first New Year being referenced as April 9th. And there's this whole 25-day, there's that 25 again of the Knight of Wands and Where's Waldo. That 25-day fortnight 4 nights, and then another 7 days, which is the chariot taking you home into New Year's. So that ends up on 4/9, 7/18, 10/26, and then February 3rd of next year, 25. And there's that 25 again. So that's very significant. And 25 is the quarter. So we have the past life deck here, the underlying energy of health. And notice this card has not 2 snakes, but the original version of the Kundalini rising here, right? The staff with the 1 snake in the health, and of course the medical symbol, the original one, referencing the Kundalini rising. And at the time I was doing this, Teddy had his little head, you know, the rungs underneath the stool. He had his little head just resting on the rungs underneath the stool, just longingly staring at me. And he doesn't usually put his head there. It was so sweet. I just noticed that time. So spirituality and religion by candlelight coming up, and the arts, the keys and strings of the piano and the guitar, the baby and the father, Moses in a basket. And again, that energy of the orphan, and leaving or travel for health purposes. Or is this leaving or travel, which then makes the father never home? And then train came up again. And I'd posted a train song that day, and calling in all angels. Oh, I have to tell you this story before I forget. So I went to the bank yesterday. I had to go and sit down with one of the people there. And so I was waiting. And I went to sit down, and there was a woman in one chair, and then there was a little girl with a chair between them. So I didn't want to sit between them if that was her little girl, which I assumed because, you know, usually the mother is with the child. So I asked the little girl if she wanted to sit there before I sat down, and she said no. And so she started striking up a conversation with me. Now, mind you, that morning, I posted the train song, Calling All Angels. And so we're having this long conversation because I had to wait 20 minutes, half an hour. And she's keeping me very busy. We're talking about our favorite desserts and stuff like that. And she was a foster child. But she told me right away that she still sees her mom and everything's good, and she was very sweet. And she told me her name was Angie. She said, but you can call me Butterfly. And her full name was Angel. So calling all angels. I was sitting next to an angel for half an hour. His nickname was Butterfly. And then at 4:20, let's see. Oh, and the same thing with the butterfly. Her nickname was Butterfly. Jenna had just given Teddy a new toy, which is a butterfly, last week. But the day I came home from the bank, he wanted nothing but to play with the butterfly with me. So it's very significant. And that was at 4:20 again, which is that 4 of the Emperor and the 20 of Judgment, right? That wake-up call or final judgment of the Emperor, which can reference God, right? The only ultimate power. And 4:20 is also my son's birth time and room that he was born. 4:20 can also reference the 42 with 0 behind it, which is source energy backing up the 2 of Cups. And the energy of the child who travels was coming up here with their father, kind of like the pursuit of happiness, or the father who's never home because they're busy taking care of other people. So Atlantis and vows came up. And I'm going to pull these cards up so you can see them. All right, so this was the underlying energy, health. And there's that travel card here too. Okay? These are the underlying energies here that were coming up. I'm going to show you these. Okay, so spirituality and religion, the arts, the baby, that Moses energy, the father and child, right? And that kind of like the life of a salesman, death of a salesman. And again, the health care industry coming up there as well. And the train was coming up right before that too. So 2 trains, right? Because the suitcase is on a train track with the shape of a pyramid. And then there was another train right before the bunch I just picked up for you. And then train came up in another deck as well. So train was very significant. And then the cards up here coming up, I'll show them to you. So there's that dirty energy of Atlantis with the dolphin reference. You know, the fall of Atlantis and the Lemurian energy. The vows of the young women. Okay. And there's the angels, calling all angels, same day. And then the imprisonment and slavery of these energies, the feminine energy of misery. Do you see any feminines smiling here, right? Even the angels not smiling there. The imprisonment of the feminine, of the Lemurian versus the Atlantean masculine energy. And then again, there's that Asian energy. Very Russian and Asian was coming up, which that'll come up in my message in a minute. So I'm just going to leave these out. I just leave them on top of here. So Atlantis and vows. So they were guiding me to break down Atlantis and vows, which ATL can reference Atlanta, but it means water, and it means urine, and it means the ninth day of the 13 days of the 20-day signs of the, I'm not going to say this right, Tonopowali, a stream of water. And again, this is the Aztec calendar. The stream of water ant is, that's Atlantis. And Lan comes up in Atlantis as well, L-A-N, as well as L-A-N-T and is. So I'm not going to go through all the definitions. But again, rainy month is one of the definitions in there, which we're dealing with April right now. And with vow, we have, of course, to promise or declare. And then VO, which is a sea inlet, but it's also the voice. And again, the throat chakra, the tongue, the language, to be worthy. It's also a Japanese symbol. And also means foe, which one of the definitions of foe is the heart, and number 4. And the ox coming up again. To wash, to make in a ball. And then WS at the end of vows also means to lack, withhold, leave without, or the height of the pyramid. And using a crack or some kind of reference point there is the WS. So it was coming up as the water, land, 'tis. Refrain between at and is referencing island. I land. I'm at the island. The language of the heart, the voice and tongues. To be worth, the ox or the kisses and hugs. A crack or reference point to measure the pyramid. The 9th Aztec period, which is the ATL, which means water. But the period references the Lord of Fire, the spirit Zutek Kutli, and its cardinal point is east. The turquoise Lord or Lord of Fire, also named Kuzaltzin, and flame. And there's, arguments on whether there's certain other gods that are the same God as this one. But the true manifestation, the Lord of duality, the Father of all the gods, who dwelled in the turquoise enclosure in the center of the earth, and they were fortified by bird water, turquoise bird water. And there's that energy of the soul that is of the bird. And it's of the year, turquoise and fire. But again, it means water, so it's water and fire. The Aztec belief that they were the North Star as well. And it referenced the first hour of the night. And I just usually go into Wikipedia or Wiktionary for my definitions. But the first hour of the night was coming up along with the snake, which is another period in the Aztec calendar. And of course, we're going from the dragon to the snake year. And the alligator was also coming up there. The fire deity with aquatic qualities. He like the fire, the hearth, the oven in the home. And they used to give the first bite of their food representing fire to the earth in honor of them. They always had a fire burning during this period. The vows are VO and WS, withholding, lacking, voice or sea inlet, language. Worth, promise of the heart. Forked tongue was coming up as the VV, which is funny because I can roll my tongue. I can't roll it like in speaking. other languages, but I can make my tongue go into the wave like that most people can't do. The heart's creation made into a ball, withholding the rolled tongue. And VOV was coming up, which means woof, bow wow, or dog. Or VS, which is versus, which is also us, US. So again, Atlantis and the vows, or VOVVS as the W. The ATL water, yet Aztec period number 9. Water turquoise, Lord of Fire, also called the Flame. And Lord of Duality, Father of the Gods, and fortified by turquoise bird water from the center of the earth, and the North Star, if they believed it was a North Star too. The heart or hearth of the home, fire. So this reference of, the feminine and the masculine, the water of the feminine, Lemuria, and the fire of Atlantis. The voice with forked tongue, the VO of the VV, the vow and the vows of WS, lacking the V, which is creation, the language or voice of the heart, refusing the ox or the kisses and hugs, and vowing not to wash. A roll of the tongue of 3 waves, promising not to speak in tongues, the water flame with annoying land, with a month of rain, to run upwards, field, and the sheep's wool, to spread at the shore, the path, the trail, to make a way to the church. This is this energy of a large task, in order to prepare for the orchids and the grandchildren, or preparing for spring in order to plant all the seeds. The month of April, when it's unending rain. The Atlantean Islands, dolphins and feminine vows made. Angels, imprisonments, and slavery, where the angels are watching us. The prison planet of unrequited love, and Asia Minor specifically was coming up, and the Russian connection to Asia via Ukraine and Asia Minor, which is mostly in Turkey now, I believe. The hard, proud women of China, Thailand, Ukraine, Russia, and Asia, and Minor Turkey. The vows of silence and the sound of silence, of food and hunger, of lessons and blessings, of bread and water and no time like the present, but there's no smiles either here. The dirty waters, the solemn vows. And I did this in my Instagram, right? The vow not to eat, the vow not to talk, the vow not to have sex, the vow not to work, right? So what can you do? Solemn vows. The angels are here, but not being called. The woman who felt like their prayers weren't being answered, so they got really serious and cold and closed their hearts. No talking, no washing, no eating, no sex. And it was 1:51 on the clock as Spirit's connecting with me. And the second hand was on the 4 at the 20 mark, which is then 4:20 again. And rain and dark days, right? How depressing is that? But we're in Aries, right? That's supposed to be very fiery, but yet it's raining. So Aries is coming up as that combination of water and fire. The waters dirtied and the souls tainted. And then the download that was coming in was where have all the flowers gone? But what was specifically coming up is when will we ever learn? When will we ever learn? The girls pick the flowers and the boys pick the girls. The military pick the boys. And when will we ever learn? That's Pete Seeger. Where have all the flowers gone? For those of you who don't know that song. So I looked up 420 in Gematria, which is Tristan, must, Sanskrit, Louisiana, and someone brought up Louisiana yesterday as well. Just LY, which is like, for me, it's short for Lyran, and it comes up in July as well. And Mount Shasta, suns. Utopia, Republican, Sailor, Moon, the Son of Man. And then Becky came up under 420. And then the next entry was with 5 A's and then AH. There it is. So Becky was coming up, and then Becky was coming up as B, C, and energized the triple zeros of 1,000 suns at the Y in the road, the 0 point field. There it is. And then Trader, planet Earth, which was 720 also, and Earth is flat, came up with the number 714 again, which had come up for me several times. So the energy of 232 also came up, which leads to new hope. But the first entry is Satan, but you have to realize the second entry is Santa. So whenever you have extreme polarity, you're going to see the other one. The climate change, Boss and Memphis, which I thought was kind of interesting because Boss is Bruce Springsteen, but Memphis is Elvis coming up. The election and Kansas, Collins and Dominion. Barnabas Collins was the first thing that popped in for me. Homecoming here with Bob Barker, and he came up as the triple fours, which is the angelic realms. And then Lucy with an I and the healer. Kroger and the Donald. Afterlife and Peppy Coin were coming up. So they were coming up in pairs, even though they were single entries. So then we have as we go on with this message, the underlying energy of the Judgment card, the Page of Wands reversed, the Ten of Swords reversed, the Wheel, the Temperance, and calling all angels. Angel being one who gels. Wake up to inspire the child now that the worst is over, a bad time. But the angels are here in the atmosphere. As Aquarius is upright with Libra reversed and Sagittarius upright, Gabriel comes up here in a big way, the Pied Piper in the age of Aquarius. And he was coming up, or Gabriel was coming up as Gab for real, with Aquarius being Aquarius, the emotion of laughter. So I guess they have a strong sense of humor here. And someone from my past came up with that right away. So the from the Lenormand Kipper deck, right, this past energy here, let me move the bowl too for you, sorry about that. The past life here, or the recent past here, is the underlying energy of the 11 and 777, which is this card here. I'm not going to pick up all the cards, but you have the picture of it, okay? So this is a very positive energy right there, along with the spiritual union underneath it. The 11 and 777 with sudden wealth and a full house, after the 7 of the snake and the Queen of Wands. The 13 of the child, Page of Swords, but that can be Scorpio as well, or a Page of Swords in transition. The 38 of toiling and laboring, someone working very hard, feminine energy there with the Queen of Cups. And the 30 of the King of Swords, and the mature spiritual union here, with the 11 and 777 of sudden wealth hitting the jackpot. With Cancer and Sagittarius, Scorpio and Libra here, the first card out is the Magician on a magic journey of self-discovery, with the King of Wands and number 23 needing to stand up to unruly mice, pets, kids, who may be wrecking the place or just not cleaning up their own messes. As the first card out is the main male, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands with high honors, the 6 of the King of Wands, again, the lover, family, and community, with a breakthrough as the sun comes out. And again, that reference to the eclipse. The strong Sagittarius, or fire energies, Sag, Leo, and Aries, along with the air energies of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The air fanning the flames, or perhaps a Virgo-type man. Mercury retro with Gemini and Virgo, the Mercury signs, and Aries with Libra, eclipse, or eclipses. Libra fanning the 4-4 portal, which is tomorrow, and the 4-8 eclipse. These both very fiery portals, right? There's clumps in both Aries and Pisces now. The 12 of the wisdom of the Hanging Man and the 7 of Pentacles, which is assessing your worth or dreaming about what you want to do with your money, or perhaps just being still for a moment, saving. And again, this could be a wise group of birds with the 6 mature woman. That can be a Gemini or a mom, a grandmother, right? Someone of family with the 6. Again, we could have Pisces or Gemini with those energies as well. And then the 21, again, of Pisces with the family room, and 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune for me, that's Libra, and the journey, and again, the train coming in. The wise community of the divine feminines, the loving family-oriented mature woman, dealing with birdhouses and clean living rooms as the train's coming in, top hat and all. And I'm getting cradle and all, rockabye baby. So the crib has come up several times, and it came up, and I think it coming up in this read. So we had 6, 12, 6, 21, 10. So it's 12, 21 with 6 on either side of that, like partnered with 6 each. 6 and 12, and then 6 and 21, and then the number 10. After 11, 1, 23, and 1. So there's that same kind of pattern there. And 25 between them, right, which is the quarter. It's also when you put 2 and 5 and write them in a squared way, it's the potion bottle. The 1 main male and the 6 of the mature woman, and 1 and 6 keep coming up. That came up major in my Instagram post that I just did. Libra, Virgo, and Gemini, Sag, these axes. Right, so we have Virgo and Pisces. So we have the Virgo-Pisces axis and the Gemini-Sag axis, and then Libra in the south node, and also the lunar eclipse that just happened. And Libra alone here with all the mutables coming up, and Mercury retrograde, which affects all the mutables. Something's beckoning here. At 6:35 is the Lovers and the Wounded Warrior. The Divine Masculine breakthrough, the Divine Feminine community has been waiting for. The past here is the 9 of Wands reversed, which is the topic, the surrender of the Wounded Warrior, and the Queen of Pentacles upright person you see here in the past. The fiery main male and the earthy, airy, mature, grounded woman or women after the underlying energies of Aries holding Libra back in seconds flat, whackety whack, and don't come back now, y'all hear, right? So that same energy came up the other day. The action is taken. The action taken was to start again, no longer bored and having grounded and integrated patience already. The present energies of the 2 of Cups here, the Emperor, and then the 9 of Cups all upright, really positive energies in the present moment. The underlying energy of true love, that this love is emotional, physical, and unconditional. But the first card out is obsession, longing and stability of someone secretly yearning for you. This relationship can stand the test of timing, is what I was getting. It's the test of time, but I was getting the test of timing. Finances are affecting this twin flame divine counterpart connection and fate. This is a destined partnership. Here and now, your true love is already a part of your life. The 2 of Cups, soulmates, partners, are the topic here. And the person is the Emperor upright, Aries, and God, the I am presence. The action to take is the 9 of Cups, to be happy with yourself, emotionally sovereign, masculine, and starting over with them. The future here is the 2 of Pentacles reversed. With the Lovers reversed and the 3 of Pentacles upright, 2 suns, truth, is shining through. The sun behind the sun, or the sun and the sun's rays reaching out, reaching into the bat cave, the keyhole, or making a crack in the cave to open it all up. Like opening the tree, right? The hole in the tree becomes a key opening, like a doorway that's been broken into by the sun's rays. Reaching into this bat cave to make a keyhole, like open the lock by causing a crack in the cave. At the double gate, the airlock, just like at the bank. And this always comes up when I've just been to the bank. It's so weird. After the 22 of the Fool's Embrace and April Fool's transmuting pain of the 56, the 2 of Swords, the wall of obstacles inside the tree, keeping to oneself, being quiet before blasting forth as the sun does a double take and says enough of this crap and breaks in or breaks through to bring light to the bat cave so that the airlock can now be seen. The double doors had been confusing him. He couldn't see his way because he didn't know what they were. The truth is now seen and can no longer choose to be blind, as the keyhole eye is the channel. The 17 of the star of dreams and intention and what dreams may come in the squint of an eye, or now with perfect vision. So somebody could have had eye surgery as well. The 2 of Pentacles reversed, breaking patterns, tripping up, or quitting the juggling of the daily grind is the topic. The person is the Lovers reversed and dumping 2 of Pentacles reversed for the 3 Pentacles upright down here, which is the action to take to come together to co-create. So at 7:07, the action to take. is that Three of Pentacles of co-creating. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific, just anywhere that you would come together to co-create. The 57 of the Three of Swords and the unmarked trail comes up in this deck now. Okay, the revelation of the 50 of the 10 of Cups and the spirit of the river and movement towards adventure. The 60, that could be December too, because 12/21 came up in Advent. The 64 and the 10 of Swords, woodwives come up here with adaptability. Again, all those mutables around Libra is that energy of the woodwives here, right? She's very a flexible branch of the inflexible tree in the middle, which is coming up here is Libra and all the mutable signs around them. And then the 63 of the 9 of Swords of the winter's dream, right? The pain of going through the winter or the pregnancy, the gestation period. And the 3 of Swords of being under pressure and screwed in the labyrinth of healing hearts and discernment, and ment is intention, finding emotional fulfillment flowing down river. Green to blue, which is referencing our planet as well, to the tree of bliss and adaptability. The mutables dancing around the trunk of the tree. The Emperor here, right, in the center of your reed. And reed was one of the East cardinal points, along with the ATL, right, which was water. The river here. With Virgo upright and Sagittarius both upright and reversed, and Gemini reversed, where we have both the Mercury planets and Sag. And Pisces, pair or group. I always find Pisces and Sag coming up together lately. Pisces, pair or group, and Libra, Sag, patient, with the Emperor upright Aries. An angel, actually. The 63 of winter's dream is at its wit's end. The suffering and silence of the snail, or perhaps a sister here, and taking forever to birth. Surrender to partner and stop the juggling act. The Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor upright, those unpaired or unwed or fixed up here, taking actions of starting again. The patient angel coming up here again. Happy with self, getting your wish, and coming together to co-create or to marry. There's something about Aries and something about Mary, as in marry. So when I broke down, I was guided to break down Aries and Mary, and it doesn't literally say this, but AM pair came up, and urgently that Sophia energy at the Y in the road, the 0 point field, and also the AM, the IM, or the morning rarer C, something you don't often see, and then Aries comes up as a Ries as well, R-I-E-S, the C, the M of Mary and the mountain that you are, and the MAR is the C, the longing and fame here of RY of Mary, so this is Mary, that rose and rides with a drive to give. So Ries, R-I-E-S, which actually I grew up next to the Rieses, means to laugh and after, to bark, scold, like the elephant was trying to use their voice to express themselves. To talk, to speak, shout, and the wrist also came up. So a laugh, talk or shout or bark, where Mary, or the C, longs, but may have a reputation here. So the High Priestess and Hierophant are upright right here, so you can see them. Right, really positive energies with the Ace of Swords, and then the Ace of Cups, though, is reversed as we go into these energies over here. And then it goes here, 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 okay? So the three of these coming together, a spiritual couple perhaps serving truth. The stones behind the sword, the S word, presenting perhaps or taking the crown as the nun and the priest, or alternative and traditional, independent and Republican, or advisor to the establishment, Pisces or Virgo and Taurus or Pope. The truth rising through the crown to trigger the masses, to overwhelm and dump on, or with the truth, an offer of love that's retracted or buttons pushed, religious or spiritual couple, when expressing their truth, become unwelcomed by the Queen of Swords, the King of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the King of Wands, both reversed, as the Queen of Swords may be a negative influence or may be seeing them as a negative influence with the King of Wands reversed. But this whole group is all negative and reversed. And actually, he's supposed to be upside down. He fell on the floor. But they're all reversed. And these two are upright and positive, speaking their truth, but it's not being received well by this group, okay? And it can be multiple ways of who these people are and how they're presenting themselves. Okay? So the Queen of Swords could be a negative influence, or she could be bitchy. She could be complaining. She could be a liar. She could be a verbal abuser. Or she could just be in a negative place. And the King of Wands reverse may not have any balls here. May be stubborn or out of work. As the Eight of Wands is upright with the Page of Swords reversed, an energetic exchange, the Hours of Love, with negative self-talk, or perhaps a young one. Or parents seeing the High Priestess and the Hierophant as a bad influence on their children. The King of Pentacles reversed with the World upright may be completing something or dealing with a Pisces or neighbor, or sharing and being generous with the Hermit upright who may be assisting them. With Pisces upright, Virgo upright, and then the Seven of Wands with the Magician all upright over here. Over hill, over dale. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting on the magic trail. At 7:57, which is the Chariot and the Three of Swords, the King of Pentacles reversed, fending off the crowds as the Magician does their thing with the Hermit shedding light. Right, so then we have the Moon reversed, the Empress reversed, and the Chariot reversed here. The deception of the Empress in lack or stuck on the warpath, or perhaps, the Chariot reverse for me can be a break up, a break down, a break in, a break out, a break through. This can be an ambulance to the hospital, or just being stuck with no movement at all. Right, either the warpath, too much energy, or no energy at all. Right, it's the polarities of that card. But the deception of the Empress in lack may be stuck or on the warpath, or playing to an unappreciative audience here, right? So these are being unappreciative over here and here of this performance over here, or how to advertise, or what persona to use, as the Knight of Wands is upright, rushing in, away from clinginess and imprisonment, with the Six of Cups, Page of Cups, and the Sun here. The Six of Cups is that innocent love, with the Page of Cups upright, all happy and energized, right? Puppy love. This could be a child, a pet, or a message of love. It's okay. It's okay, teddy bear. Go see mama. Go see mama. Yes, he doesn't like the thunder. It's okay, sweetheart. You're okay. Anyway, this is really beautiful, sweet, patient, innocent love. A message of love, a child, a pet. But it can be an adult. We have the Knight of Wands rushing in here upright to save the day, but there's also this energy of Scorpio reversed here, or exhaustion, clinginess, moving away from that, obviously getting energized all of a sudden after this imprisonment or anxiety over here, or feeling like their hands were tied and tired of it, coming out into this innocent energy with children, soulmate, your twin, with a message of love here, or puppy love, and then the Sun. The Sun comes out with good cheer, or Leo perhaps. All right, so we have Cancer, Taurus reversed, Sag or Scorpio reversed, and then Leo upright there. The Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor may be getting married before they have sex, or going to church or synagogue or temple for counsel with the High Priestess and the Hierophant, with the truth that they are unacceptable and won't be able to come together with the children, because they'll be deemed as a bad influence, or married people who don't socialize with single people, or single parents, or setting up single friends here. The World shares with the Hermit here. Pisces shares with Virgo, or perfect complements, one to defend and one to stand up and perform, or take their wands and use them in another way, right? One taking the other's wands and say, oh, I can repurpose them. Let's do it this way, which may be alien to the other. Worldly defender and wise magician, or announcement that the high priestess and hierophant will marry. And news is not accepted well by the group. The Queen of Swords reversed with the King of Wands reversed, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Page of Swords reversed, and the King of Pentacles reversed, or an unhappy mob in a commotion. And or the neighbor is all out there and sharing, and the hermit is leaving the lights on to see them, that neighbor, with the world or divine feminine or Pisces. Maybe they get defensive, right? This could be somebody laying out in their backyard alone with a fence and a neighbor seeing them and being very blatant about it. That kind of energy could be coming up, right? This could be someone defensive at the fence as this energy of Cyrano de Bergerac is also coming up here. Or at the fence is Cyrano performing a magical act of Cyrano de Bergerac with all tools on board at the eclipse of tainted Empress reversed, right? The Mother Earth, or the mother, the grandmother, the boss, who's tainted now because of all she's been through. But this is the Earth, not going to take it. And I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. The new moon stalled here, or unable to move a muscle, or just must stop the car to watch, right? Something they just couldn't take their eyes off of. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. So they saw something, and this can be the eclipse, stopping in the middle of a street to stop and look up at the sun. But this energy of the new moon, which is the eclipse, stalled or unable to move a muscle, like feeling paralyzed. And again, there's a vacuum in this energy, like we talked about. And they just must stop the car to watch. The magic light DNA or crystalline wand, or a new kind of church where magic happens behind stage or behind the lights. And then a near-death accident between the Empress reversed and the Knight of Wands upright, or Cancer and Taurus both reversed and Sagittarius upright with Scorpio reversed, blinded by the lights. Perhaps someone's saying, I was blinded by someone's headlights, and that's how the accident happened. Or they saw their soulmate. It was love at first sight, exposing all and never looking back. Or children came home and made all the difference, with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles sitting pretty, but the Empress reversed is on a crash course to the sun. As the Fortune's Oracle, I then pulled some cards from there. The underlying energy was the Owl, 23, King of Wands, and the 6 of the Chariot, the 16 of the Lion, the 19 of Luck, 36 of the World, and 33 of the Unicorn. As the King of Wands, Wise Owl, in Cinderella's Chariot, with Lion and Sudden Longing, the lucky Lion's Heart with Map of Intent across the 4D bridge with the Unicorn Gate Holders, the 3 of the Empress, Iguana, and the 29 of the 3 of Wands and the Star, that's Sirius energy, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands and the Phoenix. Soaring Mother Nature, beware of shape-shifting, seriously, as a gift from the stars causing an uprising of the dragon Phoenix, the mother wanting for their ship to come in as the Phoenix rises. And this could be someone who is getting turned on by someone waiting for them. Yeah, and just some extra energy here too at the end. At 11:11 from the Fortune's Oracle, I did it again. The underlying energy was the Snake, 28, which is the 2 of Wands or Twin Flames, and the 15 of the Key and the Keyhole, the lock. The 7, again, there's a masculine feminine reference there. And I don't know if you can hear the thunder, but it's pretty loud. The 7 of the Chariot and the Cracker Jacks. The 28 of the 2 of Wands, Kundalini, of Capricorn and Cancer, which represent the strict father and the mother who likes to cook, the disciplinarian and the homemaker, the Devil and the Crab, codependent on the cook in the kitchen, so there could be a food issue here, and the 13 of goals that will be achieved, transitioning to the gold and destined fire to build after the upheaval, embracing the renewal of the present. The 3 of Beware, again, Mother Nature and who you trust, the 2 of the Angel, and the 18 of the Lovers, or angelic romance, the divine feminine moon romance, with Scorpio, Libra, Taurus, and Pisces, and Cancer Page of Wands as their plane takes off to palm, perhaps. And just the word palm has come up like 5 times, and then it just came up with somebody's name right before the video. But the palm trees could be coming up like Fantasy Island, but the plane's taking off to palm, which is also the father realm I'm getting. The 35 and 36, Wish and World, the Wounded Warrior Atlas, and the Heart Squared, right, like a book and all lit up. The Living Library, the 10 of Wands, an open book, the Living Library around the world in 80 or AD days. But that can also reference the 8th density or dimension. The first card out is Abundance, the 14 of Judgment, all for one and one for all. The Magician or the Divine Masculine, patient or being patient with Book of Judgment, or perhaps having the book thrown at them. The Wounded Warrior and the Map of the Heart, as Atlas is leaving the Wounded Warrior behind. Lighting up and spin, the binding that keeps the pages together. The earth in this material world, the fabric of our lives. The palms that radiate the digits, the sun's rays, the 30 of the 4 of Wands union, and all hands on deck. Petals to the met-alls, opening the heart to new pages, a whole new story, the dragon's tale. And again, the energy of Atlantis and vows coming up, and the Aztec stream of water, the 9th of the 20 periods of 13 days, and the one source Sophia, at the countryside, or perhaps old-fashioned. The ATL water flame, the turquoise lord of fire and duality. The cardinal point east, which references Easter as well, and Esther. The water snake and aqua monster. The reed and the earthquakes. There could be an earthquake, a significant earthquake could come up, and that could be in the middle of the ocean too. And then all the letters of these different symbols were coming up. So the water, W, the east snake, aquatic monster, A, and then reed and the earthquake was coming up as water, east, aquatic monster, reed, earthquake, snake, which water east is the Atlantic Ocean. The aquatic monster, reeds, an earthquake, and snake, Sophia Nike, right? And Sophia could reference Mother Earth as well, right? She's taken all her clothes off, right? It's like no holds barred for Sophia out in the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean at Atlantis, right? I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore. So then we have the dragon's fire into the water snake, 24 to 25. And this was last night at 12:21. And it was so weird the way I was getting this, the 13-day cycles. I was getting from 321, the 9th cycle would have been 104 to 107 days, right? Because it's 20 cycles of 13 days. So 13 times 8 to 13 times 9 is 104 to 117 days. So they were guiding me from the beginning of the year, which I just used March 21st, and March 21st plus 104 to 117 days is 11 days from March, 30 days from April, 31 from May, and 30 from June, plus 2 days, which lands on July 2nd, 2024, which is the day I met my twin. It also adds up to 17, which is the stars and dreams come true, and the closing date is 7/15/2024, which adds up to 30, which is union. And again, referencing today with the devil, the shadow, because today's the shadow energy of the Empress and the Emperor. So when I was doing my Instagram today, my parents were coming up because they're Gemini twins, 7 years and 7 days apart, which I brought up a few times before. But their soul numbers were also reflective. She was 24, he was 42. Me and my sister are both 42 outer personality numbers, reflecting my dad. But the 24 and 42 are 66, which is the Queen of Pentacles, which is my energy because I'm Virgo. And then their life lessons are 33, which is the Christ vibration, and 28, which is the Two of Wands, or the twin flame energy of my dad. And those two added up to 61, which was the year I was born. And then the 55 of her outer personality number and his 51, King of Swords, outer personality number, add up to 106, which is only divisible by 1, 2, and 53, or the 2 masculine and feminine, Knight of Swords, Messengers of Truth. The destiny numbers came up as 79 and 93, which equal 172, which is very interesting because I looked up in Gematria 79 and Aaron came up, which is my dad's dad, and Sarah came up. So it comes up as Constantine, my father's father, and then Sarah, Mary's daughter, and my mother's name is Mary as well. So again, it was definitely paralleling there. And then they each had power numbers of 4 and 4. My mom's was 112 and my dad's was 121. And 4, of course, is all about stability and building and structure and survival as opposed to living your dreams. And 172 also came up as the 8 ball in Gematria, or the Crazy Eights dance. And for me, 79 is also the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Right? It's after the 78, which is usually the end of the tarot deck. And then the 79, which is just past, just beyond the the rainbow there. And then 93 is the reflection of 39, which is the Knight of Cups. Right? So 93 would read as 3 being the inside and 9 being the outer. So 3 is the happy, smiley person who appears very service-oriented on the outside, okay, as opposed to the 39, Knight of Cups, who's very service-oriented on the inside and always has a smile on their face. Okay, the 93 comes up as a happy heart seen as compassionate and service to others. So while I was in Gematria, I looked up my 3344 business, and the entries were You Know Who You Are, Sophia in Heaven, 2011, and I Knew I Loved You Before I Met You. So that was really cool. And then I looked up Twin Flames 3344 in Gematria. I don't remember ever doing it before because I don't remember these answers. But the number that came up with Twin Flames 3344 is 1201, 1020, and 170. And the first entry wasn't Twin Flames 3344. It was God loves a trier, Trier. And then this next entry was Twin Flames, literally under Twin Flames 3344, which was pretty cool. And then the number 105, which is the moment before 106 that we just talked about, and also 7 stars, which references the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, was under Twin Flames 3344. Then Heal the World, Twin Codes, Easter Week, Lord Vishnu, Cannot Avoid God in Her, The Resurrection of Christ, 1776, which of course is the birth date of the United States. And then 296 also came up there. And By 3 They Come, For the Greater Glory of God, Father, I am so ready to come home, and then Rise With, and then Goddess Parvati. Of course, there's other ones, and there are negative ones too that have no meaning for me. And you can certainly look up those numbers and names on your own, or your own numbers and names, so you can see what's coming up there for you to reflect, perhaps, or expand upon. Also, when I looked up my full maiden name, well, when I looked up just Evelyn Esther, which is my middle name, Unlimited Knowledge came up, which is kind of cool. The first entry was Crowley, Crowley, which I was getting the crow right away. And then the second entry was Syndactyly, Syndactyly, but I was getting the energy of the synchronicities of the Father, DA, and then the C of the Whispering Bench and Christ Consciousness, and the TY of Gratitude, and LY of the Lyran energy. Then when I looked up my full maiden name, the entries were the key code of Gematrix calculator, the final countdown, I agreed to fake die in order to save God, God loves you, is yin to my yang, direct contact with God, and then 1124 came up in one of the entries, so I looked up 1124, and that was sword, words, angels, and ravens. December 17th came up as well as Crime of the Century, so that was referencing 1217. And then I was looking at Mark King, because he always comes up in Gematria, so I always wonder if that's the name of the person who programs Gematria. But that was coming up as Mark King also came up under my name, and the one that came up was a bass player in the UK in a band called Level 42. The band was called Level 42. It was a jazz funk band, and they were very successful in the 80s. So there's the 80s coming up again. AD, after death, or 8 density, 8th dimension, or 80s, 80, which is my destiny number. And he did a slap style kind of bass playing. 1977 also came up twice. And Mark King's birthday was 10/20/58. 1977 came up where he first took action, 1977, but it had also come up prior to this when I was looking up 106, and it came up as on a Supreme Justice page, supreme.justia.com, and the court case was Pennsylvania versus MIMS, MIMMS, 434 U.S. 106 from 1977. And the prosecution of this person was overturned according to the Fourth Amendment because he was caught with a gun that was illegal. But the fact that the policeman asked him to get out of his car, he had no reason to ask him to get out of his car. So he had every reason to arrest him for false gun charges, but he would not have known that he had a gun on him if he hadn't told him to get out of the car, and I don't think there was any suspicion of any major wrongdoing, so there was no reason to tell him to get out of the car. So he actually, the ruling was overturned, and he did not get prosecuted for the gun part of things, according to the Fourth Amendment. That was coming up for whatever reason you need to know that. So let's just pull a card from Journey of Love, and then I'll let you go. So that's 4:20 on the clock. How crazy is that? 4:20, the 4 of the Emperor, the 20 of the Judgment, or the 42 of the 2 of Cups, and Source Energy backing the pair up. And so my next sign on my other channel, just my name, Evelyn Stainthorpe. This one is Twin Flames 3344, but I usually put my name there too so people have that information. But the one with just my name is, I'm doing the 12 signs over there. And that's for the general public. Whereas this is more this channel is more specific for the Twin Flames. All right, so this is from Journey of Love, and I'll read to you from the book. All right, the takeaway from today. What is the message we need to know for the best and highest good of all who's concerned? What does my audience need to know in leaving this read? Okay, so we have the breaking of the King. 65 is the King of Pentacles. This is the masculine literally breaking into the arching of the feminine, right? This is where she leaps and rises, and he is the fallen angel, and then they fall. It's like a t-shirt being pulled inside out, through and through, into the union energy. The breaking of the King of Swords, we're going to read that one. And then these two want to be seen as well. There's the 66, which I brought up, the Queen of Pentacles, which is also Route 66, and the Golden Gate. Coming together in the heart, the churning of the heart, in intimacy. Look at that in the vortex, right? Look at that. The breaking of the King of Pentacles with the Queen of Pentacles in the vortex. Beautiful. With the ethereal touch, the 27 is new passion. It's the Ace of Wands. With the light touch, the Midas touch. And the underlying energy, the 55 of acceptance, right? Having a witness to the fairy tale in the enchanted forest. That's the Ace of Swords, Excalibur, which also just came up. Beautiful ending there. But I'm going to read to you the 65. 65. And of course, the King and Queen of Pentacles are earth signs. They've gone through all the other suits or elements, however you look at it, right? They've been through the wands and the cups and the swords, the last suit being the pentacles. And you can go on to become the Emperor and the Empress if you want to, or is the Emperor referencing God? So you don't have that position as an option. The 65, the breaking, is you are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There's not so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it's easy to endure. You may worry that you're going too far, that you may not recover or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are, to remembering your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before the storm at best. So take the rest if you need it, then dive into the storm. Let yourself be brokenhearted by the divine so that you can become your truth, become all that you're meant to be. It is better to have the heart broken so that it grows than to be brokenhearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. This oracle brings compassionate guidance that no matter what sadness or anger, despair or frustration that you may feel, you're being pulled apart not by dark forces, but by the loving embrace of the divine, as it strips you of that which would keep you from your divine realization. Let go and break. It is going to be the making of you. And the poem is just simply this. It's titled Love. Love is a special closeness that sings from the heart, that warms my days and nights, that feels good, that makes me smile, that makes me glad to be alive. And then we have coming together on the next page, 66, the Queen of Pentacles. How beautiful is that? Okay, so remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature. If you can't get out there, if it's not storming all day, it's 4:24 on the clock. There's the 42 and the 24, again reflecting each other. Two of Cups and the Queen of Wands, which is also Omega and enlightenment. And rise and be love. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a great one. Bye.